about kind of this tail end of spring ball, just one more day left. How would you evaluate your guys over these 4 weeks?
I think very pleased as a group in terms of their willingness to be coached, being intentional about coming out and getting better every day, regardless if it's a meeting, an off-season workout, the practice. Guys really like football. They want to be good. They want to learn. So I just appreciate the fact that they let me coach them the way I do every day, and they're willing to take coaching. Okay, that's been fun.
What's the biggest improvement you've made over the course of spring?
I think it always has to be fundamentally. I think, right at the end of the day, in my opinion, right, especially coaching linebackers, I think getting better fundamentally, getting better in terms of playing, better pad level, better base, playing with their feet underneath them, being able to strike and escape and get off blocks, right? All those fundamentals. I think that's the biggest thing, is watching the group grow there. And as a group, they're football guys. They've learned, they've bought into the scheme and learning the scheme and the details. So that both of those areas have been really good.
When you look at the linebacker position, what are you specifically looking for from a guy? What stands out to you that you want your guys to showcase?
Yeah, I want a guy that's really smart, right? And what I mean, he's a smart football player, high football IQ, loud on tape, right? You can see him very animated. He runs the show. He's communicating. He's keeping everybody at ease in terms of the D-line and the back end, right? I want a guy that's tough, both physically and mentally tough, right? You can see him. And I want a guy that plays really hard, that finishes, right? So smart, tough finishers is what we're looking for.
The middle linebacker competition, I assume, I don't know, maybe that's the player that will have the headset communication during the season, but just looking at middle linebacker, what's the competition been like? Who's in the mix? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, we play with two guys most of the time when we're in nickel, and when we get to a base package, we'll play with 3 out of my room. So really, it'll be the off-the-ball guys. It doesn't necessarily have to be the middle linebacker, the Mike. It could be either guy, whoever is the best guy, to have that headset or communication. I think, as far as that goes, I think offensively, I think it's a little more to their advantage. Defensively, I think you can maybe get something to your guy. Like, I can communicate to the guy that I'm coaching to, hey, set the front this way, or this is the check, within the 15-second range. So it helps in that regard. So I think any of the guys could really do that.
Yeah, who are the guys in the mix? I mean, I know Cole, I'd play there, Cole Kozlowski, there's some other guys. Who's kind of in the competition?
Yeah, we've been looking at a bunch of different combinations. To be honest, we've had a lot of different combinations throughout, so it's been a good competition all the way.
Obviously, the second portal window opened yesterday. What's been your conversation with the guys in your room?
Conversation with the guys in my room is let's control what we can control. It's your job in this room to make it hard for anybody to want you to leave the building, right? It's your job. It's your job to be great. You're ultimately you're gonna have an impact in my room, but most of the guys will make the team here if they're really great on special teams, right? Not unlike Sundays, right? So just trying to get them to control what they can control, be really good, be a guy that everybody wants in the building, and don't leave anything up to chance.
This morning there were a couple of absences, Kozlowski, Harris, and
yeah, they both had injuries, and Scott will talk more about those on Saturday.
Warwick is the other one, but all those guys are injured, you said?
Yeah.
And Lewis Carter, we've seen a little bit about him this spring. I know he's coming over from Tampa, I know Oklahoma. What have you seen from Lewis, be coming in as a transfer?
Great, quiet guy, just all about his business and all about his work. Really fun to coach. Gets better and better, and so he's been great. He's enjoyable to coach because he really likes football, and he keeps getting better and works at his craft.
What about Kelly Lawson? We've seen him. He's come in from Virginia Tech. I know he's played in his past. What stood out about Kelly this spring?
Yeah, it's been great. Both of those guys have been, again, fun to watch, fun to coach. Coming from other places and willing to accept our coaching, our terminology, and the techniques that we're looking to do. So no complaints at all. A lot of fun coaching those guys.
What are some of the conversations you've had with Coach Grinch and the philosophy of the defense?
I'm sorry?
What are some of those conversations that you've had with Coach Grinch and the philosophy of the defense?
Yeah, I think obviously I'm learning what he wants to get done. The good part about this is we do have some experience as a staff on defense, and as we sat here in January and February and March before we got into spring ball, we had a lot of conversations and we had a lot of collaboration, right, in terms of, okay, this is the package, how do you want to call this, how do you want to do that? So you know, it's been great, and those things keep evolving. But you know, I've really enjoyed working with Alex.
This is the second year where UCF's had basically a whole new linebacker core going out there. How challenging can that be to bring in a fresh group every year, where you didn't have the luxury of maybe coming in and having 2 or 3 guys that were already been part of the program?
Yeah, you know, I've been kind of prepping myself for this a little bit, if going back the last few years. But you know, in 22, when I got to Wisconsin, I got there in June, and you know, they had lost Jack Sanborn and Leo Chanel, and came in and had a room, I think, that had about 14 tackles coming back, and we ended up having a top 10 defense, and we were pretty good. And then I went out to Stanford, and I kind of came into the same thing. 3 linebackers had left, nobody had really played. We took a guy out of the portal, and then coached those guys. Those guys started 24 games for me 2 years in a row, so I was able to have a little bit of veteran in the second year. But this is not foreign to me or uncommon to be in this situation and to coach guys that are new into a scheme and whatnot. So I think we got good competition. As long as you have competition, right, then everybody can get better. And I think the biggest thing that I try to do is, you know, if I got 11 guys in the room, I'm really trying to make 11, 10, 9, 8 as good as I'm trying to make 1 and 2, right? That's my job, and not to have a lot of drop-off. So take a lot of pride in being able to do that. And then whoever's down, the next guy's up and available, he can step in, and our unit can still thrive and still execute.
You alluded at one of your other stops there at how important tackles and the defensive front can be. How have you and Coach Martin kind of meshed into creating that defensive front?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we've got a bunch of guys who've got a lot of experience and are professional, and so there's collaboration, right? And when you one of the really neat things that's been for me is just going through even being at the last couple of places I was at, and then being part of a new staff is you grow and you learn. Right, you're through learning, you through, right? So I keep learning stuff at every stop, and I'm learning stuff now, both from everybody in the room, right? From Scott on down to everybody on the defensive side.
And as you close,
this position changed during your careers?
It's obviously offenses have become more wide open, right? Those kind of things, right? And I started coaching them 25 years ago. There was more 2-back sets. Now those are limited, but you know, I still think, and guys got to be able to cover the whole field, right? Really got to be able to run at this position, right? The days of having the old run stuffer, right? Those days are over, right? These guys got to be they got to be adept at beating blocks and winning in the run game, but they've got to make plays outside the numbers too on a bubble screen for no gain as well, right? So be able to cover tight ends and backs, right? So the guys really have to have a wide range of a skill set, I would say, as opposed to, you know, this guy's good, he can be the old middle linebacker, and this guy's, you know, good at that. I think they all have to be good at everything.
Sir, has there been anybody who's stepped up in the room as a leader vocally on the field?
I think the guys have been good. I think it's kind of a day-by-day process. I think they're all kind of feeling each other out too, right? Because some of the guys have been here, some of the guys are coming from different places, and I think you know, leadership naturally comes with confidence, right? Confidence comes with repetition and execution. Right, and I think that's where that stuff will come from. They're all kind of in the same boat. We threw a lot at them. Right, we put our package in. We put a lot of calls in. We're seeing a lot of offense from the other side. So each day there's a lot of different outcomes that can happen. Right. So and then we're using different combinations of guys. Right. So I think the execution piece will come a little bit later. Right now it's kind of been the evaluation piece and the culture piece, and I think the leadership will come with that. To answer your question.
As you head towards the pinnacle of spring practice here on Saturday, what is it you're looking for to kind of finish out strong? What is it you want to see?
Yeah, I just want to see a surge, right? I want to, right? Human nature is to take a deep breath after a good practice, and call it a stalemate, right? But we want to get through these stalemates, right? We want to stalemate and surge to the end, and that's what we wanted to get done today. We had 2 practices, so kind of called it a final 2-part final exam here with Thursday and Saturday left, right? And this was part 1, all right. And we'll grade that, but I think just seeing us finish on a surge where we're executing at the highest level we have all spring, and we're competing at the highest level we have all spring.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.